Hi, I'm a professional surfer and a farmer, a bit of a strange mix. So I'm just going to tell you basically about my life and a bit of a story and how I got here. So I grew up on a farm, organic vegetable farm, that's my upbringing. But I had a dream about being a surfer. I wanted to be, a surfer who got to travel the world and surf the best waves in the world. And yeah, it was a very far-fetched idea. But I plugged away and I dreamed and I worked really hard and I ended up achieving my dream. I was in Tahiti every year, Fiji, Australia. I used to go away kind of May till September because the waves are best in Ireland kind of September till then, and then the summertime there's not many waves. So I had about, I think 6 or 7 years of kind of never seen an Irish summer. I used to always go away in May. But anyway, so it was 2011, May, and I just arrived in Tahiti. I've been surfing for about a week, and then I had a really bad wipeout. I had smashed my knee really bad off the coral. So yeah, I was sitting on a couch, just started my travel for the next kind of 3 months, and I didn't know if I was going to have to go home or could I keep traveling. And so I'm sitting there feeling all sorry for myself, wondering what I'll do. And at the same time, there was a disaster happening. In Japan, the nuclear plant was in a total mess. It's probably been a build-up for years about, my choices to travel all the time and coming from an organic background and maybe not feeling so great about always getting on planes. But when I saw that disaster in Japan, it triggered something, and it kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, well, what am I doing? I'm getting on another plane, catching another wave, going on another plane, catching another wave. It was kind of like a never-ending story of just, living a dream, but not actually giving anything back. So I sat there, and I had to ask myself the hard question. What am I going to do? I'm going to keep traveling and pretend I don't worry about the world I live in, or am I actually going to do something? So it was a scary moment, and I really didn't know which way to go, and I said, right, I'm going to sit down, and I got my diary out, and I just started writing. And I suppose before you do something, it's maybe the scariest thing. But as soon as I started, I was just like, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I needed to go home. I needed to get back to the land and actually do something that's real. The thing with surfing is it's very floaty and it's great, but it's not real. It's memories. But I grew up on an organic vegetable farm, so I have that as a background. That's my childhood. I've watched my parents every single day, working really hard, doing really purposeful work that's actually of real benefit to the community. And I watched my parents do that every single day. We never had a cent. There was no money as a child, but I had my parents there every day. We were fed. It was really healthy. And a real appreciation for, being outdoors and healthy work. So actually, at that time when I was in Tahiti, I wrote my parents a letter thanking them for my childhood, because I suppose the whole time I wanted to leave the farm and become a professional surfer. And then I hit that point where actually that wasn't going to fulfill me for the rest of my life. And I wanted to do something, and then I was like, wow, I'm so lucky that I had this upbringing. So I thanked them, and I knew I have a gift given to me by my parents' choice to raise our family how they did. And I know how to grow food. I know how to work on the land. And a lot of people in my generation don't know that. They didn't have an upbringing like I did. So I was like, I have a unique opportunity to go home and start farming, and growing food is the physical act, but actually I have a chance to involve people who never got a chance, people who didn't have access to land or grow up growing any food or have any idea what producing food is like. So that was it. I came back, really clear, the vision was there, no doubts. But I didn't want to take over my dad's farm because, for starters, it was too far away from the sea, and I wanted to keep my surfing lifestyle, because the problem with farming, and a lot of people might know, it's very isolating, especially a standalone farmer. They end up being on their own, they work really hard, they don't make much money, and it's got a really high suicide rate of any occupation. But actually farming is really exciting. Being out in nature, being physical, watching, things bloom, and it's just a magic experience. but not if you're on your own. So the main difference that I had with this style of farming than what my parents did is I wanted to do it with people. And I wanted to do it in Clare because that's where I'm now living and surfing. So the idea was to start a community farm in Clare. And I came back and I had this very clear vision. And then not very long after I got back, I actually got offered €1 million off a friend on a loan to start this farm. And I was maybe 24 at the time. And I had an offer put in on a 78-acre farm. And the difference with the farm, again, what I'm saying to what my parents did is I want to make a mixed farm, a diverse farm, not just vegetables, the whole range of what's possible. So I had the dream in front of me at 24, and I could have went for it, and I put in an offer, and then I just had this huge moment of, hold on a second, let's just calm down a little bit. I like to do things, but actually I realized I could have made a total mess of it if I went in with such a big debt and big responsibilities. So I said, okay, I'm going to park that. So I did the exact opposite. I started with half an acre. So I got half an acre from a friend in Lahinch. He said, you can use it. So we started there. And I wasn't going to feed the world. I wasn't going to, make a huge dent in our diets. But it was a catalyst. It was the seed. It was the start of the whole idea. So that's where we started Moy Hill Community Garden. That was 2013 now. And it was great. It was an amazing time. Every week we had a weekly cook-up. So every Friday, everyone would come together, we'd share a meal, meet each other, and all these ideas were starting, all the conversations were happening. And then we got the loan of an acre near this community garden. So then we started going to market. And then we started what's called a CSA, a community-supported agriculture farming system. And this is where the community supports the farmer. So the community signs up for the season, for the start of the season to the end, and they say, I'm going to pay you in advance, and the farmer says, I'm going to feed you for the whole season. So it's breaking down this competition and price tags. It's more that we're a community that works together, and we're all committing to the season. So we started that, and that was great, and we had 2 years on this borrowed piece of land. But then the owner wanted the land back. And then we're like, wow, what do we do now? Do we go back to no land? Or what do we do? And then a couple of the neighbors that I'd now been living beside for quite some time had seen what we were doing, and they came to us and said, there's 17 acres of land here that's not being used. You should ask the owner and see if you can buy it. So we did. And the land was really poor, as kind of low quality land as you can get, really. But having neighbors, when you're not from a county, coming to you and asking you to go and buy the land for you to live there, and they wanted us to be in their community, that's really powerful, and that's basically the reason why we bought the land. Because it's all about people and community and working together. And ever since then, neighbors are great, we all know that, but they have helped us through everything on this project. So we bought the 17 acres, and I say we, it's myself, my wife, and Mitch and Matt. The four of us came together, and out of our own pockets, we went and started this farm. Yeah, and as I said, the land was really poor, so we definitely had an uphill struggle. We're 600 feet up, West Clare, boggy land, really wet. Anyone who's been there at the beginning can vouch for how tricky it was. So we worked, hours and hours and hours, doing crazy amounts of work to get it to actually be a farm that's usable. But we did, and we kept going. And then, as chance or luck would have it, a farm came up for sale right beside us, a 60-acre farm. And we're like, wow, that's the dream. That's what we were, that's what I was originally going for at the start of all this. But we had no money left because we'd bought the 17-acre farm, we poured everything into the roads and the infrastructure. So we kind of thought, well, we're not going to be able to buy it, but let's just kind of find out who wants to buy it and see what's going to happen with it. So we inquired, and it was actually 3 forestry companies that were trying to buy it. And in West Clare especially, and in a lot of the country, when it's forestry companies, they're actually planting Sitka spruce, which is a non-native tree that's not designed for here. And it's a monoculture plantation, and they call it an ecological desert because nothing lives in these forests. And they're really destructive, not good for the land, not good for community. And quite honestly, they're just not a good idea. And they were outbidding each other because they really wanted this piece of land. So it was going to go for sale really quickly. So we went around and we asked everyone in the community, does anyone else want to buy it? Just stop the forestry buying it. And no one could buy it. They all wanted to, but they couldn't afford it. And they all were begging us to try and buy it. Please buy that land and don't let the forestry put the spruce all around us. So we basically had a choice to make. What are we going to do? We're going to let it go to the forestry, or are we going to take a gamble? So we rang up and we just basically said, yeah, we'll outbid that offer. And I think the land was €300,000, and I think we had €3,000 in the bank at the time. So we put down the phone and we had to get kind of quite busy. And we managed to secure €100,000 from a bank, and then we had to get 17 loans of friends and family. And it was amazing. We had no idea if it was going to work. But ringing one person, they said they can give us $5,000 and $10,000 and 15. And basically, in the end, we did it. We got €300,000, but we then had to pay it back. So then we quickly launched a crowdfunding campaign. And the crowdfunding campaign was an amazing experience. It was 6 weeks of telling people what we want to do and the idea and where it's going to go, and it's for the community and all these things. And over 600 people gave us money. That's 600 people saying, we believe in you. Go for it, you can do it. And it was an amazing thing at the start of a project to have so many people behind you going, you're doing it, we believe in you. We can't maybe farm with you, but we believe in you. And yeah, it was amazing. And then the farmers that we've been speaking to as well wanted little bits of the land next to their farms. So we sold 3 parcels of land to 3 different neighbors, just to work with our neighbors. It's really important, just this constant integration. So with the sale of the land and the crowdfunding made €60,000. So we paid back the bank last year. So the bank is now paid off. And now we're into paying off our friends and family each month. So we're paying off one this month and one next month. And it's exciting. We're in the thick of it. It's really happening. But we're now up to that dream. We're at 67 acres now. We planted 300 apple trees last year. We've now got a second market garden. We've got cows, sheep, pigs, ponies. It's all happening. And this is still at the very, the forefront of the idea. And we've now got 8 people involved in the project full-time, and then we have 7 interns. And these interns, the first year we ran this internship, and these guys are coming from the start of the season to the end, and they're learning in the thick of it how to set up regenerative farming practices. How do you do it? Because I'm kind of shying away from back to the big problem with what I was talking about with the Japanese nuclear disaster. But we have a lot of problems going on. What did the UN say? I think about 4 or 5 years ago, they said, we've 50 harvests left. They said, we've 50 harvests left if we continue farming the way we're farming. So when I heard that, I got, pretty jumped up out of my seat and wanted to do something. And that's what these interns are doing. They're coming here to a farm that's really doing it, really trying to regenerate soil. Because organic is great. My dad's an organic farmer, but actually organic is a label more than regenerative. We either regenerate soil or we're degenerating soil. That's it. It's either going up or going down. And we have to make it go up. If we have a chance to do anything into the future, we have to look after soil. So these interns are coming now, and they're learning how to regenerate soil with market gardening, no-till, no-dig market gardening, holistic plant grazing with animals. We've started a tree charity as well that we have, and we've planted over 30,000 native trees on our land. But it's funny, we were trying to stop forestry, but we're planting trees. But it's not the same thing. It's we have a working farm with trees integrated. We're not doing blocks of trees that are, land's not used anymore. We're having trees integrated with livestock, with vegetables, all this stuff. And this is solutions. These are real solutions for going forward into the future. And it's amazing. And these interns, honestly, I get about 2 or 3 emails every single day of people wanting to come and work on our farm. So what can you do? That's basically what I'm trying to do, is get you all to get involved. So you could come and be an intern. That's one thing. Be a farmer. It's an amazing thing. It's a really nice lifestyle. I really recommend it. But even just come to our volunteer days. Today is our Tuesday, and we have a volunteer day today. And when I left the farm today, there was 30 people out in the field working. And I can tell you 95% of those people will never be farmers in their lives. But they get to work on a real-life farm that's feeding community. And they can be involved in it, and they can see it happening, and they can taste it, and they can take home veg. But they don't have to be farmers. They can just give it a go. So that's one thing we have. You can obviously support us by buying veg from us, but you probably don't live near a farm, a lot of these people. And why not get involved in another great farm? Why not go and support one or help start one? The big problem with farming is farmers can be amazing, hard-working people, and they generally are, but they're not up to date in the modern tech era that we're in. So we have one of our interns at the moment is doing our whole social media kind of side of things, and basically just making us, exciting and new. And there's a really amazing sales model called Rico. It's basically a Facebook group, an online market on a Facebook group, and you could set one of them up, which is basically linking producers to consumers and taking out the middleman. And there's all these solutions to help farming to go the right way and to help producers get what they need to keep doing this. So everyone can do it. We can all be involved either on the field or one step back. And that's basically what I'm here to do today, is just to ask to be involved, because if we can create better soil, then we have healthier people, we've got healthier farmers, healthy farms, healthier community. But most of all, we've got a future. We've got a chance. We've got a chance to have a healthy world for our kids to grow up in. Thanks.